Awesome. It's so great to see you all. We're going to dive right in. Just before we get started, make sure to have something to write with, draw with, paint with, whatever kinds of art materials you have. I think most of you know the drill. But yes, anything that you have on hand is great. If you don't feel like creating anything tonight, that's fine too. We're going to go through a meditation, and tonight we're going to focus on transitions. I feel like the weather is sort of in transition, at least where I live. So it could be a kind of an interesting thing for us to explore and sit with tonight as we wind down from our day. So let's get started. So just for the next 10 minutes or so, we're going to do a bit of a guided meditation. So feel free to just get yourself comfortable in your chair or wherever you're sitting and spending your evening. You can feel free to keep your eyes open if this helps you feel more comfortable, but you can also shut your camera off, you can close your eyes, whatever helps you feel best. Okay. So see if you can just take a breath. And just try to take a bit of an inventory of what you're coming in with tonight. Sometimes we can carry a bit of nervousness or discomfort, especially when we know we're entering an experience that might be a bit new or a bit different for us. Continuing your breath, just monitoring if your breathing is fast or slow, shallow or deep. Know that this is a safe place. This is a place that's free of judgment. This is a place where we can start to become more in touch with our imagination, with our creativity. And I just want to invite you all to consider this is a time to let go. It's not about being perfect or creating something that looks pretty or perfect. It's just about setting a collective intention to explore, to be free. Just spend some time with yourself this evening. And so first, what we're going to do is we're really just going to start to focus on our body. You've been paying attention to your breathing, moving in and out of your body. Just allow that breath to continue to happen naturally, however it feels good for you. And maybe you can start to notice and do a bit of a scan in your body. Are there any areas of tension or stress? Maybe there's some areas that feel okay and relaxed already. Maybe you're experiencing some migraine symptoms right now. Or maybe it's been a pretty good day. Start with your head and notice if there's anything there. Your eyes, your ears, your jaw. Just notice what sensations are coming up for you. Move through your neck, your shoulders, and try to see if you can intentionally just breathe into these spaces that have any discomfort. You can imagine your breath as a color, and you can send that color through your body to anywhere that feels discomfort. Move through your arms and into your hands. Again, breathing into these spaces. Travel through your back. Maybe you can notice your back being supported by the chair. Notice your stomach. Start to loosen your abdomen that maybe is feeling a bit tight. Move through your hips and into your thighs. Breathing into your knees and your legs, your calves, into your feet, your toes. You notice your feet on the ground or underneath you, supporting you. And start to bring your attention to your mind. And notice if it's active, busy, perhaps it's a bit distracted. Do you feel a bit preoccupied, or are you feeling more focused? Are you feeling your mind start to quiet down? And take a bit of an inventory of how you are feeling emotionally. If there's any emotions that feel present for you, maybe you can feel them in your body. Might be feeling open, accepting, excited, or maybe a bit frustrated. Maybe you're worried about something. Maybe you're feeling tired. Maybe you're just feeling okay at the moment. Now that we've sort of taken inventory of where we might be at and coming into this experience with, let's try to turn our attention to considering our experiences. Perhaps there's a way in which you are in transition in some way in your life, or maybe you've recently been through a transition, or you're anticipating some kind of change for the future. Try to see if there's anything that comes to mind for you as the seasons change. We're constantly in a state of change as well. Maybe there's something you really want to move towards in your life. Perhaps it feels as if something might be holding you back. Whatever seems to come up for you, just pay attention to that. Take a breath with whatever that might be. Again, noticing if there's any changes or sensations or feelings coming up in your body as you consider this idea of transition. Maybe there's something visual that is coming up for you as well. Maybe a color or someone in your life, or a visual of some kind of place. See if there's anything coming into your mind's eye, or perhaps there's words that come up for you as you imagine transition. Start to imagine what you might need to move forward. Sit with this for a moment and see if you can imagine what you really might need during a time of transition. Is there a symbol or an object or something that might bring you some comfort? Or is it a mantra that you can say to yourself that supports you when you're moving through unknown spaces? Try to see if you can really consider what it is that you need. Maybe it's some self-compassion for yourself. Take a few more moments here. Take another breath. Try to see if when you feel ready, you can come back to our space together and open your eyes. If you have some paper in front of you, you can start to take notice of it and whatever materials that you brought today. Let's see if we can together, without judgment, as best as we can, try to capture a piece of what this experience was like for you and what maybe resonated for you, with you. And maybe you're not sure what to create. Maybe there's something that's really coming up that feels like it's calling for your attention. Maybe you're not sure, and you can begin to experiment with making some marks on your paper, whatever materials you have on hand. And you can doodle and you can see what arises by just allowing yourself to have some freedom to play and to create something. It doesn't have to be an image of anything, but it might be. It could also be words that come up sometimes. And for some of us, we're not as visual, and maybe there's words, or again, a certain mantra or phrase, something that came up for you as you consider yourself in a transition. Maybe you just take this time, if you're experiencing any migraine symptoms, to try and distract from those sensations in your body now that you've come more in touch with them. And I really want to emphasize that there's no right or wrong way to create or to draw, to experience this. It's intentionally left very open for you. It might be a bit of a challenge, or it could be really, really thrilling and exciting for some. And see if we can work together for about 10 minutes or so, trying to capture some aspect of this experience visually through words, whatever seems to make sense for you. Also feel free to play some music for yourself to help guide the process if that seems like it could be helpful. Or you can create in silence for a few moments. And I'm going to mute myself for the next 5 or 6 minutes, and then we'll check in again. And see what comes up. We're going to keep working for another few minutes. Just keep going. You might notice some inner criticism come up. I like to kind of remind people as we're moving through that that's totally normal to feel that way, especially if you don't often make art or kind of create in this way. So try to see if you can challenge that criticism if there's anything coming up. If it feels like the image isn't turning out how you might have wanted it to. Part of mindfulness is having a state of non-judgmental awareness. So see if you can try to be aware of whatever might be coming up for you through this process without judgment. Just give it another few minutes, okay? And you will likely not be done whatever it is that you're working on, but you can continue to work on it if you'd like, of course. Just kind of getting a little tease of art tonight during our time together. All right. So see if you can find a good place to stop just for now. And I'd like to invite you to come back to our space together. And if you'd like to turn on your camera at this time, you're welcome to. I like to leave a few minutes for discussion, as most of you know. If there's anything that's come up for you or resonated with you, or anything that this brought up for you that you think could be interesting for you to explore a little bit more. And you're welcome to share what you created as well. Does anyone have anything that you'd like to offer or share today? It's also totally fine if, if we're not feeling like talking to.
I'll go ahead and share something just to break the silence. It was interesting. Like I had an image in my mind and I'm having a hard day and I just feel really tired. And I was so looking forward to this and I'm really enjoying it. But like the process of trying to create the image on the paper went kind of, my day actually went better than this, but just I used my eraser a lot.
Yeah.
And now that I've stopped, it actually looks a lot better than I thought it would. I'm not going to share, but
yeah, that's okay.
But I mean, I think as a mindfulness practice, like it was really good because I feel like I am feeling overwhelmed and like I'm doing too much. And that was kind of the process of doing the artwork kind of felt like that too. And so I think it's a good thing that it's kind of like, okay, this is my body is telling me it in multiple ways, I guess.
Yeah. And that's really interesting. You're able to pay attention to that, Heidi, you know, and right. Sometimes it's like nothing's right. Like we just need to keep erasing and it feels like it's just not working, you know, and things are hard. So that can be really challenging. I appreciate you being open about your experience, you know, with it.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I found that this time a little bit frustrating to express as a drawing one of my concerns and one of the issues that I have. And trying to express that as an art form, which is self-accountability.
Yeah, it was hard to find a way to express that for yourself visually.
Graphically, yes.
Yeah. What did you end up creating, or you know, what happened in your process?
Well, ultimately, I came up with a stick figure with a sign above it that said accountability pointing down to me. But that was about the best I could come up with.
Yep. Yeah. And again, you know, it's like there's no right or wrong. You know, it sounds like maybe kind of like Heidi, you were feeling a little bit stuck today too, you know, and sometimes, right, it's not about having to fix or change that. It's just about acknowledging it, you know. That's what mindfulness is.
But it was a great intermission after what I've been going through today. So in the last couple of weeks with a major home remodel outside. So
has anyone else had a difficult day? No. Deanie, yeah. Absolutely. No, I hear you. Sometimes it's like, you know, some days are really hard. I'm glad we could come together, you know, to support each other a bit tonight.
One thing that brought up, what you just said, that I learned from a book called Option B from Sheryl Sandberg and Adam Grant, that I've put into practice is whenever, for a greeting rather than the standard, how are you? I now always use, how are you today? And that acknowledges, especially a person with adversities or pain, how in fact they're doing that day, and expresses some form of empathy, which is often appreciated.
That's so true, right? And it's like today, right? We're keeping it in the present. You know, again, that sort of weaves us into mindfulness because we're constantly changing how we feel, you know, and especially dealing with migraine too. There's all kinds of changes and unexpected things that can happen.
Yeah.
Anyone else feel like offering anything to the group tonight? Tom?
I know we have a time constraint. I won't be boring here. After the deep breathing that you started us with at 7:35 or so, I felt kind of creative. A month ago today, I was in Chicago at a Cluster Busters conference with about 120 nice people. We had a silent auction, and I won this little vase.
Wow.
With a little tag that says Serenity. You know, I put all 20 tickets in there, so I stacked the deck. But since I won the little vase, I painted the little vase.
Oh, wow.
Blurry, I think. Let's try this.
Yeah, that's okay.
But I painted it. I found a brown marker that I had gotten at Retreat Migraine a couple of years ago. They gave us these really great acrylic painters that are really cool. You shake them and you press them, and they're in all different colors. And a couple of years ago, they gave them to me, and I've been using them for all the art things, and I'm saving them in a folder here. But
I love those. I love those markers. I got them too. They're great.
Sorry. They're wonderful. But I decided to paint the vase. It's right here. I work from home. It's right here at my workstation. It's like it has Serenity on it. It's got little crystals, and it just inspires me to do better during the day, despite pain. There's something inspirational about something you brought home in your luggage and you put it on your workstation and reminds you of being with nice people at a conference. So thank you for the and I like what you did with your hair, Jen. I have to compliment.
A little bit of pink in there.
Well, you must have done a Miles for Migraine walk because they all seem to the pink hair. We did 2 weeks ago in Philadelphia. Everybody had pink.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's really inspiring and encouraging too. You know, like that they sometimes there's these objects that we keep in our space that can really bring us back to being present. Like there's mindfulness in that as well, you know. Keeping things in our space that are going to ground us in some way or remind us of experiences that were helpful. Love that. Yeah.
That's especially important during the upcoming holidays.
Yeah. Yeah. Can be a hard time. All right. Anyone else have anything you would like to share? Or... Okay. Awesome.
Jen, that was wonderful. I just want to say thank you.
Oh, thank you. I love spending the time with you all. It's great to see you. Looks like we're all doing this. We're all in this together each day.
Yeah.
So it's great. It's great to see so many familiar faces, and I hope you all have a great night.
Thank
You
you.
as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Good to see everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Thank you.
Okay.